Yo, welcome back to the LTL podcast. We're back here on, it's July 20th, 2023 already. I cannot believe that we're almost completely through July. And we're in episode 35. Today, we're going to talk about Carlee Russell. What is the news? What is going on? This case is crazy. Is this a hoax? Did she really get abducted? There's so much all over the place here. But we're going to get into all of that today. The chat will fill in as the show goes on through the night. If you're watching this live, please feel free to chat there in the live chat. If you're watching this on replay, then please go down in the comments section and leave a comment, #replay. I do want to let everybody know this evening that I am actually working on a second channel. It's going to still be affiliated with Let's Talk Live podcast. But what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to download these episodes and re-upload them on a second channel for you all to go over and rewatch them or to bring in some new subscribers. Because I want to keep this to a live show, and then I want to do all my replay content on a second channel. So that is to be announced. I will be up probably in the next day or so, getting that channel up and going. I'll be downloading my past episodes and re-uploading them on that channel for further exposure for Let's Talk Live podcast. But before we get into Carlee Russell, what I wanted to do was I actually went over today and checked out the fundraiser for Albert Stotch. And we know of his son Gannon's story, and you know that I was a contributor a couple of days ago, the $500 donation that I left on the GoFundMe account here. But I found this pretty cool. I was over there looking today, and I was scrolling down through the comments, and I'm wondering if I can get down here. But I thought this was pretty badass. Someone from the Let's Talk Live podcast that views this podcast went over and donated $25. So I want to give this person, Sanchez, a call out. Thank you so much for donating under the Let's Talk Live umbrella. I really do appreciate that. And that just shows me that we got a little bit of traction, and hopefully more people that come across that stream will go over and open up their hearts and do something right for this family and to help them out. So I thought that was really cool. I wanted to share that with everybody before we got kind of into the heart of the show. Let me just do a quick entry here. Jamie's here. She said, that was my email. If you're interested, I do not think it meant to harm any speculation. Can leave information in. That's all. Sure. I haven't seen any emails come through, but maybe we'll check that out. Daniel's in the house. Thank you. Teresa's here. She said, hey, I got to catch a live. Thank you so much. Nina is here as well. Throwing up those pink hands, throwing up those big pink hands. So let's get into the heart of the show here. And we're going to talk a little Carlee Russell this evening. This is from People Magazine. I thought some big speculation here when I first started hearing about this case. And, some red flags went up when I started reading a little bit more about it. I don't know how you all felt about it. It was weird. It was strange. And we'll read this article here. So People Magazine, Carlee Russell case, what we know after police say they're unable to verify abduction claim. Excuse me. There are many questions left to be answered. Hoover Police Chief Nick Derez says, adding, only Carlee can provide those answers. It's going to go on to say 6 days after Carlee Russell mysteriously vanished alongside an Alabama interstate, only to reappear at her parents' house 2 nights later, police said they're unable to verify her claim about being abducted. The 25-year-old Alabama nursing student left work last Thursday night and called 911 saying she saw a toddler walking alongside 495 on her way back home. She told dispatchers she was going to check on the child. Then she called her brother's girlfriend before suddenly vanishing. My son's girlfriend heard her asking a child, "Are you okay?" She never heard the child or say anything, but she heard our daughter scream. Her mother told AL.com last week, all you hear on her phone is background noise from the interstate. 2 nights later, after a statewide search that involved local, state, and federal investigators, Russell reappeared at a doorstep of her parents' house where she lives. In the days since, police have been unable to verify Russell's claims about a missing toddler and other key details from the 911 call. Investigators say that she declined to speak with them further. There are many questions left to be answered, Hoover Police Chief said at a press conference Wednesday. Only Carlee can provide those answers. The Hoover Police Department held a press conference to shed light on the case, which grabbed national attention and fueled online speculation. Duras filled in some of the gaps in Russell's disappearance, including what she said about being abducted, what she searched online in the days leading up to her disappearance, as well as facts detectives have uncovered in the days she reappeared. But there are many facts, according to Duras, that are still unknown. Here's what we know. This is what I have to say that's just kind of strange. You have this abduction, or this said abduction. She shows up 2 days later. She seems to be in pretty well shape, as from what I can see. There's no physical marks, there's no bloods, there's no scrapings, there's no signs of a struggle. I also thought that was very strange when I was reviewing the I always say webcam, the footage, the interstate footage of her car. And I find this to be very strange, that as she's pulling up, and we're going to play that video as well, her hazards are already on. Like she's getting ready to pull off. Like she knows a specific spot that she's going to be stopping in. Like something maybe that she planned to stop at that side of the world. Now, that side of the road. And again, this is all alleged. It's just, thinking what I think is strange, what I thought was really weird and poking out in this investigation, or in this, said disappearance. So we're going to read here on the article. It says Russell searched online about Amber Alerts and the movie Taken before vanishing. Duras alleged Russell made a handful of very relevant internet searches in the days leading up to her disappearance that investigators were looking at, including information about whether you have to pay for an Amber Alert and what the maximum age for an Amber Alert can be. I know that a lot of people are probably saying that she might have had a mental breakdown. But what I'm looking at this seems to me like it might be a case of like attention, maybe to get some national exposure, maybe to get some light, some eyes put on her. We've heard of things like, and I don't want to compare this, but the Jussie Smollett case. We heard about that. We heard about there was the boy in the balloon, the hot air balloon, or the boy that went missing, and they ended up finding him like a couple of days later, like hiding in his parents' house, even though they searched up and down, and they said that he was taken away in a balloon. I remember hearing stories about that. I'm trying to think of just some other ones. We've heard stories of people that said they were in the Twin Towers during a 9/11, and they actually weren't there. There was an actor that went on with a story for years, and ultimately went on the Howard Stern show and said, hey, I've been making this up all along, and it kind of morphed into all these things. I forget what show he was on. Let me see if I can find his name really quick, and maybe one of you in the chat will know who it is. Actor that faked 9/11. What the heck was his name? Actor that faked 9/11 story. Oh, Randisi. Stephen, I think it's how you say it. Stephen Randisi or Ranadisi. He faked a whole situation saying that he was in the Twin Towers when they fell, and went on with this story for years about it. So we've heard of, things like this over the years, of people making up these stories for attention. Maybe they have some mental mental health issues that drive them into, you know, these said type of situations to get some attention. Let me look at the chat right here. Teresa says, I think it was a hoax and she should have to pay every dime back that was collected and every dime law enforcement had to put into those searches. And she may well have to, you know, if they find out that it's a hoax, she may have to pay for all that emergency response equipment or people that went out there. Yeah, Danielle makes a great point too. I read about this. Why take toilet paper in a bathrobe? I heard she just broken up with her boyfriend. I think it was to get his attention. Yeah, this sounds like an attention scheme. You know, she probably went through a bad breakup. She was upset at her boyfriend. What's the biggest way that I can get back at him? Well, I'll make up this elaborate scheme. And she must have known that they were in a troubled relationship, you know, days or weeks before to do those internet searches. And as I said, this just sounded really weird to me. Things weren't adding up. You know, the searches, you know, pulling over with the hazards in the specific area. It didn't make a lot of sense, but we'll go on here to read the article, and then I have a lot of videos that we're going to get into, and it's a lot of people are pissed about this, and rightfully so. I do think it's highly unusual that the day someone gets kidnapped 7 or 8 hours before that they're searching the movie Taken, and that's about an abduction. I find it very strange. Security footage from where Russell worked allegedly shows her taking a bathrobe and toilet paper in a concealed fashion. Then she stopped at a nearby Target where she bought Cheez-Its and a granola bar before ordering Mediterranean food. Now, listen, you know, it's just all the evidence here is starting to add up. Things are starting to point in that direction that this is made up. And I think the best thing that she needs to do at this point is come out, apologize, say that I'm sorry, say what the specific purpose was. Americans in America love second chances. They love the comeback stories, I'm telling you. And, you know, what will happen is this will go on for another couple of days. And then, you know, a year later, some news station will find her and say, let's talk to Carlee Russell 1 year later and see what happened. And she'll end up being some famous actor or actress in, I don't know, whatever, some movie or whatever. I don't freaking know. But this is usually what turns into these silly things. So after Russell made her 911 call alongside the highway, officers arrived on scene and found the Mediterranean food, her cell phone, and her purse, wig near a vehicle, but not the robe, toilet paper, and snacks she gathered after work. She said she followed the toddler, but police say there's no evidence of a missing child. So, I mean, you all know what's going on. Let's pull up some videos here and get some firsthand knowledge here of what's going on. We got some of the neighbors that were talking and saying that they felt very confused about the situation. So let's pull some of that up right here. This is from News Nation. Let's check this out.
Well, police in Alabama say they are having trouble verifying the story of a nursing student who says she was abducted. Carlee Russell says she saw a toddler walking across the highway when she stopped to help and called 911. Then claimed she was abducted by a man in the woods. News Nation's Brooke Schaefer has been following this investigation closely. So, Brooke, a lot of twists and turns here. What are police saying at this hour?
Well, Kelly, police in Hoover, Alabama are still investigating what happened in those 49 hours that Carlee Russell was missing. But at the same time, there is a growing frustration for some people in that Alabama community. People who spent 2 days searching for the 25-year-old nursing student.
A lot of new names
She
in the room
vanished
tonight.
last
Good to
week,
see
as you
everybody
mentioned, reportedly after seeing a child on the side of the highway. Her disappearance prompted a multi-state search with law enforcement, family, friends, even strangers. It gained national attention, but now police are casting doubt on Russell's claims she was kidnapped. And detectives said they have actually no evidence that child she called 911 about even exists.
At first, I was hopeful, but later on, I became very disappointed because everybody came together for a good cause in the community to work together to find Carlee. And now that the facts have come out and Facebook speculation, it seems that this is not truthful at all. And so it's just great disappointment.
It's a lot of questions going on in my head, thinking why or how, or, it's a crazy world out there. So it's like to have people praying about certain situations and find out that it's not what they were praying for.
So people who live near Hoover, Alabama, where this all happened, of course, grateful that Carlee Russell is back home safe with her family. But they fear now what this case will do to other missing persons cases in the future. And we should mention, we did try reaching out to Carlee's parents, both by phone and over text message. We haven't heard back.
Yeah,
Kelly?
Understood. Certainly happy that she's home. So, Brooke, could Carlee Russell face any charges for this?
Yeah, that's a big question right now. In a press conference with police in Hoover, Alabama, the police chief said that they hadn't really gotten to that point yet to be able to think about any possible charges. But we did speak with an attorney about this case, and he told us that Carlee Russell could face a slew of charges for falsifying her story. There could also be some civil penalties for the amount of money and resources spent trying to find her. At this point, though, police also saying that they have tried speaking once again with Carlee Russell. Her parents, though, declining that request, saying that she is still too traumatized and not ready to talk.
Thank you for watching. Go to News Nation Now.
Yeah, I mean, the civil charges, all those charges to repay, the police departments. I mean, it's a lot of time wasted, and that's going to be thousands and thousands of dollars if she's responsible for that. I mean, I think I want to say like an average fire alarm pull is a couple of $1,000s just for the fire department to come out there. Let me just readjust my camera here. Yeah, so we'll continue on here with some video coverage. We'll play some clips. Let's see. Let's see. Let's go to this video here. Let's play what a psychiatrist says.
Lieberman. She is a forensic psychiatrist and expert witness. So, doctor, on Carlee's cell phone, some notable searches were found that included, are you charged for an Amber Alert? Searches of the Liam Neeson film Taken, which is about kidnapping, as you know, and how to steal cash from a register and not get caught. So, doctor, what does that tell you?
Well, first of all, it tells you that she has other signs of being dishonest, how to steal from a register. The movie Taken, that is a big clue, because basically she was staging her abduction. I didn't believe her. I thought there was something fishy with this case from the very beginning, because that's basically what I'm trained to do as a forensic psychiatrist, is to, determine whether people are malignant, whether they're lying, or whether they're, whether they're telling the truth, criminals, and or even in civil cases. So, she also seems to have copied Sherry Papini. When she did that, she's the...
Well, I think it's just, I think the whole community is traumatized. I mean, I wouldn't specifically say her herself. I mean, she set this up. If this turns out to be a hoax, which it's really looking like it is, she did this to herself. You can imagine now what her parents went through, what her ex-boyfriend or boyfriend went through, what that community went through. Her neighbors are now upset. They had everybody running out all over the place. These police officers are upset. There's a lot of wasted time where they could have been on other cases or making other calls. So she really brought all this on herself. You got to look at it that way.
California woman who staged a hoax. She disappeared for a while, and it turned out that she was with an old boyfriend, and then she surprisingly, showed up. She was charged with things, and did, I don't remember whether she spent time in jail, but she was definitely convicted. So, there are so many. First of all, it's interesting that she left her purse and her wig and her expensive watch and so on in her car at the side of the road. But she took the black bathrobe and toilet paper that she stole from her job at the spa, and she took snacks So those are kind of clues as, did she hide out in the woods? Was she thinking she would need these kinds of things? She also bought a bus ticket to Nashville. Now, was there a boyfriend in Nashville or somebody she was hoping to meet up with? These are the kinds of things that the police need to follow up on. There are several other. Now, for example, in the press conference, the chief of police was saying that there were other things on her cell phone, but he's not disclosing that because of, sort of respect for her, to keep her privacy. So there are lots of different avenues. I just mentioned a few of them, but there are lots of different avenues to go down, and the police going to go down those avenues to try, because they want to determine what actually she was doing during those 2 days.
Absolutely. Those are the big questions. So as we know, Carlee's boyfriend and parents are standing firmly behind her. They've also been through a lot, of course, during this time. What do police need to look for when handling a case like this?
Well, it's interesting, her boyfriend and parents, because yes, they're saying certainly that they believe her now. The parents said this on national television. But if it turns out, as the police chief essentially said, that this was a hoax, they're going to be angry at her. Of course, if she gets charged, then they'll be sympathetic and try to help her, undoubtedly. But, this is a very, I think part of it was that she was wanting to manipulate them in some way. It's not clear why, but like, for example, that day that she disappeared, not only did she steal from her work, but also
there were things happening where she was misrepresenting, but she also, like you said, doing things where she wasn't telling the truth, and that was obvious. Is that correct, Doctor?
Right. Yes. And so she was afraid perhaps that she was going to get into trouble, like flunking out of nursing school and so on. There were various things, but it's still really there. It's not very clear. And and certainly we need to get to the bottom of it for one of the reasons that you were mentioning. How are the police going to react to other women who come up with these kinds of stories?
Absolutely. Dr. Lieberman, thank you so much for joining us and for that breakdown.
All right. I don't know. It's just crazy. I honestly think this is going to turn into a hoax type of story. I don't see any evidence that's really leading me to think that this is something that's credible. So it's gonna be remains to be seen. I mean, I think they're getting down to the nitty gritty in all of this. I think we're starting to figure out, what happened. It's just not looking good. It's not looking good. All right, let's pull up another video here. Let's see. All right. Former FBI agent
Police
weighs in on the case.
They want to talk to Carlee, but her family says she's apparently still not ready.
There are many questions left to be answered, but only Carlee can provide those answers. What we can say is that we've been unable to verify most of Carlee's initial statement made to investigators, and we have no.
Well, the only criminal act is that she, wasted law enforcement's. She wasted law enforcement's resources. She gave false statements. She lied. So that's criminal. I don't know if it's going to be a felony, but it could be, I don't know what it is in Alabama, but it could be a misdemeanor. It could be a felony. I know that she's going to have probably a huge civil liability on this if it does turn out to be, because the city's most likely going to hold her responsible. But I think this is an opportunity where she needs to get out in front of a camera, give a statement or have a lawyer that gives some type of statement and says, hey, you know what? She wasn't in the right frame of mind. She's dealing with some mental health issues. She didn't mean to cause any harm or malice in this, and and get out ahead of this now to really do some damage control and try to fix the situation here. So.
Reason to believe that there is a threat to the public safety related to this particular case.
Joining me now is Jennifer Coffindaffer. She's a retired FBI agent and News Nation law and justice contributor.
It's a felony.
And Eric Guster. He's an attorney based in Alabama, where Carlee Russell went missing. Thank you both for joining me. Really appreciate it. All right, Jennifer, let me start with you. Look, we've been asking questions about this story all week, about why the police are and aren't saying a lot. But it does seem to me that it is pretty clear when the authorities there finished their press conference saying there is no threat to the community. They're basically saying we don't believe the account.
Yeah, they made it crystal clear that there are so many holes in this story. There are so many holes in the investigation from the standpoint of it not matching her account. It's clear that they don't believe her and that they don't believe there was an abduction.
And they've waited a few days to say this, right? I mean, this is something where the authorities probably want to be careful. I mean, look, all of us, I think, wanted to try and help when we heard the story. I know that I went on TV and talked about, please, help if you know anything to bring her home, etc. And now with these questions, they don't want to quite point the finger at her yet, right? They want to be careful in how they frame this.
Right.
Well, they've said definitely that they have more investigation to do and that right now they're not looking at charges. They're looking at getting to the bottom of what happened over those 2 days. But having said that, I think they made it crystal clear to the community that there is no one that's in the community that abducted her, and there's no cause or concern for the public's safety. And that really, at the bottom, the end of the day, that was the message delivered, and that's because her story is not believed by law enforcement.
Eric, you think that's a fair characterization?
Absolutely. Hoover was put on the map as a place where people get kidnapped. And they wanted to make sure that they dotted every I and crossed every T in this investigation before they said anything. Because this was a very scary thing for everyone around here, where I live 20 minutes from where this allegedly happened. And I was telling my wife, don't go outside, don't go out anywhere at night, because we're fearful that there's some kidnapper. But Hoover was very methodical with their press releases. They let little by little out that this did not happen. I did not believe it on Friday, Dan, because the story was absolutely ridiculous once I thought about it. And I'm glad that they finally said there's not a kidnapper on the loose in Jefferson County.
So tell me why you were so suspicious of the story even, days ago.
I'm a former criminal defense lawyer and a trial attorney. First, for someone to see a 3-year-old toddler at night on a freeway makes zero sense. When you're driving 50 to 70 miles per hour, first of all, to stop going 50 to 70 miles per hour, it will take you 70 to 100 yards to stop. The story makes no sense. Right. If you see something on the side of the road, it's impossible to do that at night. So those things really stuck out. And then the next day, on Saturday, Hoover released the video that showed that she rolled the shoulder from what the police chief said for 600 yards. That let us know that her story was not adding up.
Well, let me play a little bit more of her 911 call to dispatch. This is number 9.
Do they look like they're injured?
No, they don't.
Are they white, black, Hispanic, or Asian?
They're white.
Okay. Is it male or female?
I think it's a boy, a little boy.
White male? Okay. Is he wearing clothes?
Yes.
Okay. What is he wearing?
It's a white T-shirt, and it doesn't look like he has any pants on. It looks like a diaper.
You don't see any cars anywhere?
No, no cars are anywhere.
So, Jennifer, Eric was suspicious from sort of day one. As you listen to that 911 call now, does that make you have even more questions?
Yes. It seems like she's sort of making it up as she goes.
Thank you for watching. Go to News Nation.
Thank you for watching. All right, let's keep moving on here. Let's see. Let's play. DJ, the link's dropped if you want to jump on, man. All right, let's play this here.
Let's bring in News Nation law and justice contributor and retired FBI agent Jennifer Coffindaffer. Jennifer, I've been looking at your commentary on Twitter in regard to this story. I listened to the 911 call, the original call, where she says she sees this toddler that evening. Investigators plotting, or rather seeing that she traveled the length of 6 football fields, watching this baby without actually going and picking it up and putting it in her car, like most people would, to keep it from running into lanes of the interstate. How much does this jeopardize true abduction cases, if in fact everything appears to be what it is, which is
What's up, bro?
A falsehood.
Hey, buddy.
Well, Adrian, I'm so glad you asked that question because.
What's that?
Can you hear me okay?
Oh, yeah. This is wild, huh?
Yeah. I've seen it twice before in my career.
Yeah.
Very similar stuff. I mean, I think that she's probably had a nervous breakdown. Something happened. You know, there's some allegations of theft, and you know, she's in nursing school or what have you. She's potentially made a mistake and seeing her whole world fall apart. And I think she's had some kind of a breakdown. It's sad, but I don't believe that the state. I think it would be probably overzealous prosecution if they tried to pursue it. I'm not really expecting them to do so, unless there was something. I know she did some searches and things like that, but they're, you know, yeah. I just can't see them doing it. They may if her, you know, we have what's called a Baker Act here in Florida, so they would have taken her here. We would have taken her into custody, and she would have been held for 72 hours and evaluated. So I don't know if that happened. I'm sure, you know, once they started figuring this out, they may have done that. And if they did, that could only protect her.
Yeah.
She'd have to sign over HIPAA info and stuff like that. But I mean, I just can't see them doing anything about it, to be honest with you.
Missy Minx brings up a good point too. She says she sounds also very calm on the 911 call. I would be frantic if I saw a toddler on the interstate. Yeah, that's a great point. I mean, I'd be like, what the fuck is going on?
Right. Yeah, she wasn't even remotely out of breath or anything like that. Yeah. I mean, most people, just their adrenaline pump would have them breathing extremely hard. You know, you find a toddler on a busy interstate. I mean, that's a pretty big event. You know, it's not something that happens every day anyway.
Yeah.
So by her being calm like that shows kind of a premeditated, you know, state of mind. She was ready to answer questions.
Yeah, absolutely.
Dispatcher was really good though. And what is he wearing? You know, she asked the right questions, and she popped those answers off pretty quick. So she rehearsed this. But I still think that there's something going on here that we don't know about.
Yeah, let's play through this. I have the actual interstate video too, and I wanted to kind of go through that because I looked at it, I'm like, this seems weird. She has like her hazards on, she's pulling in really, really slow. Like you wouldn't see what I guess I'm getting at is, like, you know, they were just saying before in the last video I played, if you're going 65, 70, 80 miles an hour on the highway, something like that off to the side, especially at night, you're not going to catch that with the human eye. Your peripheral, you know, it's not well lit on highways. We know how interstates are. Like, how would you see this child from, you know, yards back? And then you have the wherewithal to say, all right, I'm gonna throw my hazards on and I'm gonna ease into this. You know, it just didn't make sense.
Did the video show her going in reverse at all, or was she just?
Yeah, well, I can't remember, but we'll definitely pull it up. We'll take a look at it after this. Let's play through this and see what
that's really where the harm comes in this situation. Obviously, there's been harm done to her family, to friends, to all of those searchers who looked. But now it just casts a shadow on all these cases, even more so. Oftentimes, these missing cases aren't believed. They're thought to be runaways. And it's really just an epidemic of individuals who are missing in this country. And now we have another instance like a Sherry Papini that's been staged in a hoax. And so it's just awful news, Adrian, for the missing community.
And you think about your own family members. You know, we all have someone in our lives who's gone through mental illness, struggles with drugs, addiction. And you think, okay, perhaps she had a lapse of judgment because of something else going on the inside of her. Perhaps there was something stressing her out so much that she had to, you know, embellish or exaggerate the details of what happened to her. For it all to add up to this, but the fact that she had that Google history, it kind of makes you throw everything out.
I totally agree. To me, from that press conference, the big takeaway was the planning. This had been going on for at least a couple of days, all of these searches that they revealed. So it was clear to me this was well planned and well thought out. I think even the fact that she went and got food at a restaurant, but then got snacks at the Target, kept the food in the car from the restaurant to look like she was taken, but took the snacks because she was hungry. It was just, planned out. I'm not even going to say well planned out, but certainly planned out.
It sounds like some tomfoolery and some foolishness, but I have to ask you, in your experience, what would police need to do to really decide this was all a hoax, this was a scam? We're still waiting for some indication that they can verify any part of her story. Do they have enough evidence now to say, indeed, we need to charge her with something?
I don't think right now, even though I think that certainly there's probably probable cause, but they're going to want to be able to, before they go to that grand jury, before they charge, have a beyond reasonable doubt case. So what they're going to do is take that ring camera footage from where she approached her home, and they're going to work backwards, Adrian, looking at the footage. Where did she come from? Was she dropped off? And they're going to be able to put together this picture of where she was those 2 days. And I think when they finish that, we're going to see charges. We're going to see false statements. We're going to see false reporting. And they're going to add up the dollars that were used to find her, Adrian. They're going to, I've been a part of these, adding all of the federal and state and local resources. They're going to get a number on this, and I think we'll see that number.
Yeah, tens of thousands of dollars likely spent in searching for a woman who may not have ever been lost or in danger at all. Jennifer Coffindaffer, thank you so much for being with us. We'll continue to watch this case.
Yeah, she's going to be in some trouble, bro.
Yeah, it may turn into, them coming after her civilly, for these charges. But again, I mean, if I'm a defense attorney and I'm defending her, and, if there is a mental factor here, I just think it would be overzealous. She's going to have a lot of people backing her, and she's going to have a lot of hate too. But there's just so much other stuff that they could be focusing on. I mean, I get it. I get it. But you know what? This is how I try to look at it in a positive way. It's training, man. They're out there doing this. They're forming grid searches. They're working together. They're getting it's other jurisdictions involved. And hey, they had an opportunity to train. They did what they were supposed to do, and they figured it out pretty quick. There's not always a crime, and I think that if you look at this, negatively and law enforcement, you really shouldn't, because it's not very often that you have an opportunity to gather, jurisdictions together like that and make something happen. I think it's, you just kind of got to look at it in a positive way.
Let me ask you a question. So let's rewind this and go back like 20 years. Okay. Let's say this situation happened 20 years ago, with how everything is today and the sensitivities that, culture has gone and how we've changed, that we need to be more tolerant and more sensitive. If this story happened 20 years ago, John, do you think that she would be vilified right now? I'm telling you, I think
be
crucified, where I think this is going to become to an issue of like sensitivity, and we need to be, I think that's what's wrong in these situations where we're too sensitive now in these such situations and culture. And it allows people to continue to do these types of things where we're not harder on people, where she may not get prosecuted at all.
She may not.
She may get let off. And 20 years ago, she would have been in fucking court and paying a fine and probably doing a little, some major community service or some time in county. Like, it's different. It's so different. And I think it encouraged, the behavior of this kind of, we need to dumb down society. We need to, tiptoe on eggshells. It is so different, dude. It's so different.
It is 100,000% different. You're absolutely right. You nailed it. And, I don't really, I don't think that, 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 I don't think that,
I don't really know what to say about it. It's again, I don't have enough information. I mean, I don't know what her life's like. Did her parents have a press release or anything like that? It seems
Nothing
like
yet. Yeah, I mean, I think they came out and they spoke a little bit, but they just chose to not speak at this time. They said,
she could be, and I'm speculating, but she could be on some psychotropic medication, and maybe she's off. And there's all kinds of factors here, and we need to give her a little grace until we find out what's going on, because I mean, it's not like she killed anybody or
of course
did something like that. This is kind of a it's not a nothing burger. It's a serious event, but it's just like I said, I look at it as, hey, no harm, no foul. You got jurisdictions together for mutual aid. They trained, they came through and they investigated. They figured out it was a false allegation. So I don't know. I'm just trying to look at it positively, and I think it's a great thing that they got together and as quickly as, I mean, look how fast that they did that.
Right.
I mean, they were on it, brother. I mean,
and I don't want to, and I don't want to come off as an insensitive prick, because I'm not. But I'm just trying.
You're not.
I'm trying to just weigh the situation. Like, if this was 20 years ago, oh my God, there would be newspapers all over, like, liar. If this came out and she was liar, you're not going to see any of that. It's a different time, and it's going to be, the headlines are going to be, maybe she had some mental health issues. We need to help Carlee. It's going to be a completely different dude.
And 20 years ago, I'd have been all on that bandwagon.
Yeah.
I've been wanting to crucify her,
Right.
I don't know. I guess it's just me, chilling out, getting older.
Yeah.
I don't
being a little bit more understanding, I guess. Right.
I get all the media coverage and stuff, but I just, there's more to this. I don't think it's as nefarious as people are going to believe. I want to believe it is. I mean, I think there's something to it. So,
all right, let's see.
It doesn't make it right. I'm not condoning it.
No,
at all. I'm just, but I pick my battles nowadays, and that, to me, there's so much other crime out there. And like I said, I look at it as in a positive way.
Absolutely. All right, let's
play. You know what? If something big happens and it's legit, bam. I mean, they just had a great opportunity to do some exercises. It's very difficult.
All right, from News Nation, former FBI agent.
Unpacking this story. So let's welcome now former FBI Special Agent Stuart Kaplan. Stuart, thank you so much for being here. Let's dive right in. Police say this is an ongoing investigation. What are they doing right now to either validate or invalidate her story?
Well, I think certainly if you look at the physical evidence, and I would start obviously with the video evidence of the camera that picked up the car along the interstate. Certainly the camera or the video does not in any way show a toddler near or in any proximity to where she ultimately stopped. In fact, if you watch the video, she actually goes down the highway.
We're going to watch the video
for a good distance before she finally comes to a stop. The first thing, as an investigator, I think anybody could appreciate that if you saw a toddler in the middle of the night out there on an interstate, you would stop your car instantly and get out frantically and try to protect that child. The behavior of seeing the car continue down the highway, number one, is inconsistent with the belief that, in fact, there was a child along the road. Also, I think you would understand and appreciate and anticipate that other motorists would have made the same observations and would have called 911 or would have stopped their vehicles, obviously to render aid to this child in obviously grave danger. So those are the obvious direct evidence that I would have a problem with. I see this case, unfortunately, more as she may have been involved with someone else. And maybe in order to have an alibi for where she was, I think we may see this case unravel in the days to come.
So, Stuart, how do investigators go about tracking her account, putting some of these pieces together?
Well, the first thing is the cell phone was left on the side of the road. And so, of course, it is my understanding that the phone will not offer any information with respect to after she apparently allegedly was abducted. However, the phone will be of importance to backtrack and see who she was talking to, who she was texting, and most importantly, in fact, we saw the advancement of this technology, the location services that are indicative now in all cell phones, where it can pinpoint with direct accuracy as to where she was at any particular time. They'll be able to go back and see where or whether or not, in fact, there's some validity to where she was coming from. I think they're going to look at that cell phone information. And then, of course, they're going to attempt to interview her and see whether or not.
I want to say it's funny, but I know of this situation in the sense of not this particular situation, but I was just looking at, the people that were out there joining the search. I went through this. With my brother. My brother had killed himself. He went missing. He was missing for about almost 3 days. And then we found him down near a underpass out on 495 where he took his life. And we've been through that.
My brother killed himself too.
Yeah. Thank you. And I'm sorry for your loss as well too. So, I don't know if you went through that particular horror of trying to find where, this person is, a family member, and then just getting that awful news that they're dead. And I've been through that, and I was just seeing the pain and the concern in these people's, these people's eyes. They're out there looking for this person, and I mean, you've now whipped up your community as well too. It's just not good business. It's not good business.
I'll be candid with you. I'm not extremely versed on this case. I've heard little, nitpicks here and there, but what was the deal with her? Was she being charged with theft? Was she in a retail store and got caught, or
no? It was just things that she was Googling. She was Googling how to steal money from her. So we're thinking, and like this FBI agent was just saying that it could have been, maybe she was involved with some other guy and needed to get money or to see, we don't know, but she did some Google searches. She looked at the movie Taken. And then do you have to pay for an Amber Alert? So, I mean, all this stuff is kind of adding up to make it seem like an alleged hoax.
Did she have a boyfriend?
She did have a live-in boyfriend, and they were having some problems. So
okay, so
it could be an attention thing too.
Well, or she's not able to account for where she's been, and he's upset, and maybe she's seeing someone else, and she's got to come up with a story, and that could be what's going on too. I mean,
I don't think we're bashing her. I have to be honest. I really don't think we're bashing her here. I think we're just laying out a scenario and asking some questions in it. Yeah. I don't think we're bashing at all. I mean,
I know that we're not bashing her at all. I'm actually
saying maybe it's this, and maybe it's that.
Yeah. No, but it's we can hypothetical it all day long. I mean, there's all kinds of things that could have happened. Hell, she could have been, she could have had a miscarriage.
Oh, okay.
Or something like that could have happened. Absolutely. And she's having a mental breakdown. Maybe she was, maybe she was with child. No, we don't know. But something's not right, obviously.
Yeah. Truth and Justice says no, it wasn't, not meaning us. He's saying either, but there's other creators. I haven't watched any of the other creators. I can't speak for them. I only speak for LTL podcast. What's in our best interest here. We talk about, we're just talking about scenarios, what could have been, And, my determination of it right now is, and I'm free to speak this and say my opinion, that I think that there's something going on and this is a hoax. It's a hoax. I don't think anything happened. That's the evidence that's leading me to believe this right now as I learn more about this story. So,
if I wound up lead on this case and I sat her down, I would handle her with kid gloves and try and figure out, what was going on in her life, and I wouldn't be hard on her. I'd want her to just kind of tell me what happened and come clean. And she probably would. She would probably, have a little bit of a humbling moment and let me know what's going on, and we'll
usually it does.
Turn it over to the state attorney's office and let them handle it. I don't see a grand jury being involved. I think that's weren't they mentioning that though? I mean, you're gonna have
maybe
a grand
that's
jury get
Alabama
involved.
law.
Come on.
Maybe
And they're
that's
complaining
Alabama
about
law.
cost. We don't need. I mean, come on. This is not. They don't need to invest any more time in this case. It's over. Figure out what happened. Get her the help she needs and move on. And if you have to, have her held accountable, then give her some community service. Have her, do some counseling and be done with it. Yeah. There's a reason, and we may never know, but I just think it's overzealous for anyone to want to put this woman in prison or even prosecute her.
Right.
Really.
All right, let's play this. This is the video clip of her, pulling to that side of the road. Let's try to look at this and analyze it a little bit. You can see her already to the right side, on the bottom right side. I believe there's no volume, but we can play through and see what's going on. See, this is what I thought was odd.
So she's got her phone at this point though, correct?
Right.
So this is where the cast is going to come into play. They're going to be right here. They're going to be coordinating with this camera footage and the times and find out what was going on with her phone at the moment that she was pulled off to the shoulder of the road.
Yeah. So they were already on her. They already had the camera on looking at. Yeah, she was talking to the 911 operator. So they already had the camera on her and they were following her. I mean, this is what's just really odd to me. If you saw a boy, as she said, she saw a little boy. It's so close to the mile marker too, which is very strange to me. And this sign, it's almost like, hey, that would be a great spot to kind of pull over.
Well, also, I mean, she drove for a good, 200 yards there.
Yeah,
doing about 2 or 3 miles an hour. I mean, you see a toddler on the side of the road, you're gonna stop and stop there. You're not just gonna keep driving. I mean,
exactly.
That makes no sense to me. So, did you say she goes in reverse at some point, or?
No, it looks like she's out of the car now. I can see someone moving.
So what she's probably doing here is she's constructing her story. She's fabricating it, and that whole time she's pulled off to the side of the road. You ought to be able to hear on 911 whether she's actually moving. Right. You'll be able to tell with some enhancement, because anybody's going to say, hey, you see a toddler, you pull over, you stop. You don't keep going for 250 yards.
Right.
And so
you can see she's out of the car now. You can see it. Right. Yeah,
she was constructing her story is what she was doing. Yeah.
Something just don't seem right.
How old is she? Early 20s?
20s, 25.
And how far along was she in nursing school? Does anybody know?
I don't know offhand. I think it just said, nursing student, the articles that I read.
Well, I mean, if they charge her with a felony, I mean, that's going to ruin her opportunity.
Yeah.
I just can't. I hope that doesn't.
Oh, now here's police. Really okay, this is interesting. I sped it up a little bit here. So this seems a little while later. And now police are actually getting to the car. Well, she's got a bachelor's degree, April said. So, I mean, not really much here that we're going to be able to see. You just see the police coming in. But let's do this. What did I do here?
Well, I guarantee you they had Air One up, which is the helicopter. So they were probably, up pretty quick. I bet you there's video of that out there somewhere showing them out there using infrared to try and locate, the baby out in the woods. So there was certainly some cost there, but I mean, I look at it this way too. I mean, those people are getting paid no matter what. They're getting paid. So sometimes I don't agree with going after restitution for some events because that's their job. They're out there, they're getting paid. So if an event happens and it's dispelled, do we go after them civilly? I mean, I think it's kind of overzealous sometimes, but other times not. I'm not too into this, trying to crucify this lady. I'm just not into it.
Yeah,
I'm not don't have much passion for it.
Right. Yeah, no, I completely agree. Let's see here. I had a great video pulled up and I just lost it. Give me a second here. Let's see if I can find it. Where was it? I closed the wrong damn tab.
But it did seem like I heard somewhere that she got caught stealing somewhere. Did that not happen? Allegedly?
I didn't read anything. I read something that she was Googling, how to steal money out of a cash register or something like that.
It seems like I heard that somewhere.
Let's play a little bit of this.
Does anyone else know about that? If so, post, please, because I'm pretty sure that's what I heard.
Let's play a little bit of this press conference and see. This is the most latest one that they came out with. So
she took stuff from her job. That was it.
Yeah, that's it.
She got beauty supplies or something like that, maybe.
All right. Good afternoon and welcome to the Frank and Pam Bearfield Training Center. I'm Captain Keith Sescaleba. That's spelled KeithCzeskleba with the Hoover Police Department. Joining me at the podium today will be Hoover Mayor Frank Brocato, spelled Brocato, and Hoover Police Chief Nick Durzis, spelled Derzis. You may also hear from Lieutenant Daniel Lowe, spelled Lowe, of the Hoover Police Investigations Division.
And good afternoon for you all coming today. 6 days ago, our community learned about the disappearance of Carlee Russell, and it sent fear and pandemonium not just through our city, but the entire state and the nation as well. The media quickly joined us to get the word out about Carlee. Our community sprung into action, and they organized search parties, arranged prayer vigils, and they took other steps that I'm not even aware of to help in this situation. The Hoover Police Department quickly rallied multiple partner agencies, stopping at nothing to find Carlee. I'd like to take this time to say thank you first to the Hoover Police Department, our partner agencies, our wonderful community, and to all those that aided in some way in connection with this situation. As the days have gone on and more information has been shared, we know everyone has questions. The Hoover Police Department is known for being very methodical and thorough with their investigations. For that reason, we did not feel comfortable speaking in detail publicly until now. It is important that we share this information now so that our community can be put at ease. So at this time, I'll turn the microphone over to Hoover Police Chief Nick Durzis. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank everyone for being here today. Besides me stands the team who played a significant role in this investigation. I want to thank our department, members of surrounding local law enforcement agencies, the FBI, Secret Service, United States Marshals, and ALEA for their assistance in this case.
Wow, Secret Service.
We said from the evening of July 13th, our focus would be the safe return of Carlee Russell.
Bro, she's in trouble. FBI, Secret Service, fuck.
Yeah.
It's
what we do now, man. It's what we do. They've got this down to science, and it just goes to show you the tenacity of law enforcement today. I mean, she's going to have to pay some way, but if it comes to fruition that she just was seeking attention because she did steal, and she was afraid that she was going to lose everything, and she wanted some sympathy because she is in nursing school and she's looking at some criminal charges, and she did this to for whatever reason, for attention, then yeah, I'd come after her. But we just don't know. I'm sure. Have you watched this yet, or is this first time?
No, it was my first time looking at it.
Well, maybe they're going to tell us. I don't know.
I've been working, so yeah. Let's listen, man.
Russell, that occurred.
And I'm going to tell you, I wouldn't want to be on that shit list.
No. I mean, the Secret Service getting involved is,
that's
pretty
not
telling.
good. That's not good.
On Saturday, July 15th, approximately 49.
Let's just say they couldn't identify where some white powdery substance who that was. So. We can't lift fingerprints and we don't know whose it is. Sure,
you don't know. They couldn't get any DNA. That's the crazy part.
Bullshit.
Yeah, I'm calling bullshit there for 100,000%.
9 hours after she called 911 and disappeared. From that point, our focus has been to determine Carlee's whereabouts during that time and what exactly took place. Let me say up front, this investigation is not over. We're still working this case, and we'll be working this case until we uncover every piece of evidence that helps us account for the 49 hours that Carlee Russell was missing. However, through the public interest, and in some cases, public fear that this story has generated, we owe it to our citizens to tell them the facts that we have uncovered. So I will give you the facts that we know today. On July 13th, at approximately 8:20 p.m., Carlee left work from a business at the Summit. Surveillance video from her place of employment shows Carlee concealed a dark-colored bathrobe, a roll of toilet paper, and other items belonging to the business prior to her departure. She ordered food from Tzatziki's at the Colonnade and traveled there. She then traveled to Target on 280, where she purchased some granola bars and Cheez-Its. From there, she remained in the parking lot at that shopping center until 9:21 p.m. when she drove to I-459. Carlee communicated on her cell phone with individuals known to her while on her path of travel up to the point of calling 911 at 9:34 p.m. And at this time, we will play the 911 call in its entirety.
Okay, this is good stuff here. I must say, that's a very nice pink on him. It's a very nice suit.
Right. Well, I tell you what, real quick, that so she got caught. Was she confronted when she stole the robe, or did they determine that post her event here and see her take it?
Right.
That's what I'm wondering.
I think
because if she was confronted at work and terminated, or knew she was going to be terminated, this could be what sparked her entire event.
Yeah, April's saying it was on camera, so maybe after the fact.
That's what I'm
hiding
saying.
it.
When she's gone missing, the investigators are going to pull that video of her leaving the store, and they may have caught her.
Yep.
Doing that, and it just may be coincidental that they caught her. But if they caught her prior to that and she knew it and she was confronted, this could be the event that drove her over the edge.
I agree. All right, let's play this. 911 call. Hey, drive safe. Don't do anything dumb with your phone while you're driving. Drive safe.
Hi, I am on Interstate 459, and there's just a kid just walking by themselves. Oh, hold on. Where on 459 are you? I'm right next to the exit 10 by the Hunter Med, like you get off by the Med. Okay, so you're before that exit? Yes. Okay, and were you headed southbound or northbound? Okay, towards Tuscaloosa or towards 280? Towards Tuscaloosa. Okay, and was the child on the left or right side? On the right side. Were they walking northbound or southbound? They're walking towards Tuscaloosa. Walking southbound, or how old do they look? Like a toddler, maybe 3 or 4. Did you pull over with them? Are you still with them? Yes. Okay, are you with the child right now? No, I'm not. I didn't get out of the car. I can see them though. Do you mind staying and keeping an eye on them until we get there? Yeah, sure, yeah. Okay, what kind of car are you in? I'm in a red Mercedes-Benz. Is it a sedan or SUV? SUV. I mean, it's a sedan. Sorry. Can you put your hazards on for me? Yeah, they're on. talk to the child at all, or did you say anything to them? No. Okay. No. Do they look like they're injured? No, they don't. Are they white, Pakistani, or Asian? They're white. Okay. Is it male or female? I think it's a boy, a little boy. Right now? Okay. So is he wearing clothes? Yes. Okay. What is he wearing? It's a white t-shirt, and it doesn't look like he has any pants on. It looks like a diaper. And you don't see any cars anywhere? No, no cars anywhere. Okay. All right. What's your name? My name is Carlee Russell. And you don't see any injuries on the child from where you're at, correct? No, but I can't really see them that good. Okay, try to keep an eye on them for the best you can, because I don't want you to lose track of them. Okay. All right, and do they have shoes on? No. Not that I can see. I can't really see that. Look. Okay. All right, I've got them on the way, okay? Just try to keep an eye on them, but the officers are on the way, okay? Okay, thanks. Thank you. Okay, bye.
So what do you think, DJ? Too calm.
Yeah, rehearsed. Way too calm. She's thought about this, so I'm thinking that she's probably, you know how you know the expression, you go from hero to zero.
Yeah.
And back to hero again.
Right.
So wherever she worked, if she did get caught stealing, she knew she was about to go down. She's going to try to divert attention because she's in panic mode. She's working on a career in nursing, so she wants to be a hero. And what better way to bring attention to yourself?
Yeah.
Than to do something like this when you may have, a negative event that's about to happen. So, she could be thinking, oh, I'm going to take the heat off myself and, be a hero here.
Yep. Negative with a positive makes
it. You don't know what goes through people's minds when they're in panic. When they're in panic mode, I mean, she's letting it. If this is just me speculating. If she did steal and she was caught stealing, she's going to let down a lot of people.
Yep.
So
what better way to become a hero?
Right. Exactly. Even, and she doesn't understand the ins and outs.
But then it's weird with this whole, it turned into saving a boy. And then I think maybe she went through some things this is not going to work. Cause what if they show up and they don't see me with this boy? I'm just going to vanish now, but then I'm going to show up 2 days later and then I'm going to say I was abducted. It's just
right. And then she vanished because the wheels fell off the wagon.
Yeah. That story wasn't going to make sense to her. How am I going to explain there's no kid here when they show up?
So, hero to zero.
Right.
And, there's a lot more to this, but I hope they come up with an explanation, and hopefully she'll be candid when they interview her.
Right.
They've already interviewed her many times, but was she like I said, we have what's called a Baker Act in Florida. I don't know what it's called there, but it's just a mental health act.
Nothing like that I've heard so far.
And you basically you try to coax them into voluntarily going in, but if not, then you can, under good faith, you can take someone into custody and articulate what's going on, and then a doctor will have to evaluate and decide whether she's held for 72 hours.
All right, let's play this.
Carlee called a relative after speaking with the 911 operator. She went missing during that conversation sometime after 9:36 p.m. Traffic camera footage was obtained which depicted this portion of the incident, and that footage was analyzed as part of the investigation in conjunction with the 911 call and cell phone data to accurately determine the time frame. Carlee's 911 call remains the only report of a child on the interstate, despite numerous vehicles passing through the area at that time. No one has called to report that a child is missing,
and the Hoover Police Department did not locate any evidence of a small child
Not good.
walking down the interstate.
Right.
Data from Carlee's phone, including her Life 360 app, shows that she traveled approximately 600 yards in her vehicle while she was on the phone with 911, stating that she was following a child. 600 yards. That is 6 football fields straight. 600 yards.
100 feet.
The Hoover 911 Center received a second call from Carlee's mother, stating that a relative was on the phone with her when they heard Carlee scream, and then they had an open phone line. Hoover police officers arrived on the scene within 5 minutes of being dispatched, and several other officers arrived shortly. They located Carlee's wig and cell phone in the grass near the vehicle. Her purse was located in the front seat of her vehicle with her Apple Watch in the purse. The food she ordered for Tzatziki's was also in the car. The items she purchased from Target, as well as the items taken from her place of employment, were not in the vehicle, nor were they located anywhere around the scene. Hoover police deployed all available assets from the point in the search for Carlee. Additional resources were called in to include our own drone unit, crime scene investigators. Numerous detectives responded to the scene. Throughout the day Friday, officers from surrounded local and federal agencies assisted Hoover police in the search for Carlee Russell. Officers returned to the scene on 459 to conduct a thorough line search for evidence. K-9 teams from the Jefferson County Sheriff's Department responded to check for any sign of Carlee, the child that she...
So, and I may be wrong here, but you can correct me. A line search is when they look at a specific area and they'll start at a specific point and work their way through, correct?
Yeah, line search, grid search. That's what they do. They go arm's length apart.
Yep.
And they'll just slowly and methodically take small steps and create a grid, and then someone will be charting what areas were covered.
Yep. That's how, believe it or not, that's how they find escaped prisoners as well too. They'll take a map around the specific area. They'll have quadrants or a grid like you were just talking about, and hit all those grids and basically work. If the prisoner is still in that area, they'll work him or her into a specific area, and that usually narrows down where they are.
Is there any footage during the daytime of that area so we could actually see what they were?
It's mostly just like highway, interstate. There was some woods around that area as well. There's not much video of them. I just see like them just walk, quick B-roll stuff, not anything major. So, yeah.
Anything else that could be considered evidence in this case? Those searches all turned up empty. Private citizens, including search parties organized by our family, friends, began looking everywhere that they could to find any trace. These searches took place throughout the day Friday and again on Saturday, yielding nothing. At 10:44 p.m. on July 15th, the Hoover 911 Center receives a call from Carlee's residence stating that she returned home on foot. In subsequent investigations, detectives obtained surveillance footage of Carlee walking down the sidewalk alone prior to arrival at her residence. She was conscious and speaking with paramedics when she was transported to UAB. Detectives were able to obtain a brief statement from her prior to being treated and released. During the statement, she told detectives that while traveling down the interstate, she saw a baby walking down the side of the road and called 911. She stated when she got out of her vehicle to check on the child, a man came out of the trees and mumbled that he was checking on the baby. She claimed that the man then picked her up and she screamed. She stated he then made her go over a fence. She claims he then forced her into a car, and the next thing she remembers is being in the trailer of an 18-wheeler. She stated that the male was with a female. However, she never saw the female, only hearing her voice. She also told detectives she could hear a baby crying. Detectives, the male had orange hair with a big bald spot on the back. She said she was able to escape the 18-wheeler and fled on foot, only to be captured again and was put in a car. She claimed she was then blindfolded but was not tied up because the captor said they did not want to leave impressions on her wrists.
Was she describing
She said that they took her in.
Do what?
Was she describing Trump? Jeez. He had orange hair with a big bald spot in the back.
I thought she was talking about me at first.
This
I
is
have reddish
absolutely
blonde
crazy.
hair with a big bald spot.
I hadn't heard any of this. This is crazy.
And we're just we're not trying to laugh or make light of the situation. It's just a little comedy here and there doesn't hurt.
Just the story alone.
Right. It's really melding into this fucking movie like story. It's just holy, she's gonna be in a lot of trouble, bro.
Yeah,
I'm gonna be honest with you.
This is not looking good.
It's not looking good. All right, let's keep playing here.
Into a house and made her get undressed. She believes they took pictures of her, but she does not remember them having any physical or sexual contact.
This is terrible.
She stated the next day she woke up and was fed cheese crackers by the female. She said the woman also played with her hair, but could not remember anything else. At some point, she was put back in a vehicle she claims was able to escape while it was in the West Hoover area. She told detectives she ran through lots of woods until she came out near her residence. During this interview,
April says it's going to get
detectives noted
weirder.
that Carlee had a small injury to her lip, and she claimed that her head was hurting. She also had a tear in her shirt. Detectives also noted that she had $107 cash in her right sock.
How'd I know he's
Out of respect for Carlee and her family, detectives did not press for additional information in this interview and made plans to speak with her in detail after giving her time to rest. Detectives continue analyzing data from Carlee's cell phone that was left behind at the scene. We enlisted the help of the United States Secret Service in conducting this analysis. Part of what data includes several internet searches in the days leading up to their disappearance that I think are very relevant to this case. On July 11th at 7:30 a.m., the term, "Do you have to pay for an Amber Alert?" was searched. On July 13th at 1:03 a.m., the day of her disappearance, the term, "How to take money from a register without being caught," was searched.
John.
On July 13th at 2:13 a.m., the day of her disappearance, the term Birmingham bus station was searched. On July 13th, 2:35 a.m., a search for a one-way bus ticket from Birmingham to Nashville was conducted with a departure date of July 13th. On July 13th at 12:10 p.m., a search for the movie Taken, a film about abduction, was conducted. There were two searches related to Amber Alerts on a computer at Carlee's place of employment, including one regarding the maximum age of an Amber Alert.
Oh, man.
There were other searches on Carlee's phone that appeared to shed some light on her mindset, but out of respect for her privacy, we will not be releasing the content of those searches at this time. We've asked to interview Carlee a second time.
Oh, there you go right there, John. Some mental health stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wonder if it was suicide or something like that.
I think she was running interference because she was going to get terminated from work for stealing. That's what I think. And I think she's probably in panic mode. And she's talking about, she's searching how to skim from the register. You know about that?
Yeah. No, I was saying that the fact that the things that she was searching, they said it was revealing her state of mind at that point.
Right.
And they weren't going to share. I bet you it was like a suicide thing. I guarantee
Could
it.
be, or she, she wanted to remain missing for a while.
Right.
And, take the heat off of her act, but put the heat on, for, sympathy.
Right.
I don't know, man. It's
just a weird
this is a rabbit hole. Down.
As you can see, there are many questions left to be answered, but only Carlee can provide those answers. What we can say is that we've been unable to verify most of Carlee's initial statement made to investigators, and we have no reason to believe that there is a threat to the public safety related to this particular case. Thank you very much.
Wow.
With that,
so
questions, please raise.
What's they're going to take question and answers.
Q&A. My question would be is A, was she asked to provide a rape kit? And B, did she deny it?
Right.
Did she deny having a rape kit done? Because, I mean, I'm not saying that she accused anybody of raping her, but that would be
makes
something
sense.
I would
It would
want to
make
know
sense in this
quickly.
situation.
Right.
Absolutely. Yeah, an abduction, you held it, you're held, you've been captured in two vehicles, and you had these two people around you. I mean, it would only make sense. All right, let's hear what the Q&A is here, then we'll get this puppy wrapped up.
Raise your hand and I will call on you, Carol.
Chief, do you expect any charges against Carlee Russell in connection with the disappearance and in connection with what was taken from the Woodhouse spa?
Right now, our focus is to determine those 49 hours, so the investigation continues. So to be perfectly honest with you, that hasn't even entered our mind or been discussed.
Is it surprising to you that the family has not been cooperative in returning to be questioned?
Well, I think the family has stated to us that they didn't think that in her mental state right now, because of trauma of the incident, that she's not ready to talk, is what we've been told.
Go ahead, sir. Yeah, question for Chief. You stated that the abductor had orange hair. Was this abductor black male? Was it female? Black female? White female?
I believe it's a white male. Am I correct by saying that? Was it ever? Yeah, white male.
Is this
Demolition Man.
Alleged abductor yet on loose in the Hoover area?
Don't believe so.
Yes, ma'am.
Chief Brittany Dion, WBRC. Has a toxicology report been done, and were any drugs or illegal substances found in her system?
We have no report of that.
Yeah, they wouldn't have that.
Indication of mental illness in this case.
There's been a concern in the community that if this were turned out not to
Wait,
be
did he answer that last question?
Yeah, he said not that he's aware of.
Mental health?
Yes, not that he's aware of.
next time a young woman of color was missing, that it might not be taken seriously, how would you respond to that?
I'd respond to say that we investigate every crime to the fullest, just like we have this one.
Everybody, why do they have to pull a race car? It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
Come on.
Was she traveling with anyone since
With people.
Yeah, it just gets crazy. It's too crazy.
And not to my knowledge.
Chief, I know you said you were able to verify a lot of aspects of the story. Where do you think she went? And how would you characterize what happened here?
You know, that's the $100 question. You know, we pretty much know exactly what took place from the time she left work until she got on the 911 call, and we can see getting out of the car on the interstate from that footage. And after that, I think she only knows. We don't know.
Well, one quick follow-up. Her parents. Did you speak with Carlee's parents, and why do you think it is they were so adamant that there was an abductor?
Yeah, I think parents are.
So real quick, I just want to show this. This is what I was talking about. So I got Wesley Snipes, Demolition Man. His hair was like orangey, blonde. You know, that's what I was referring to. I was just joking around.
And, you know, I want to say one thing. How irresponsible. We're in a press conference, and this is probably a worldwide event. People are following it, and this reporter had the audacity to suggest and put out there that, oh, well, you know, if this wasn't a woman of color, that they wouldn't have taken it seriously. OMG, people. Is this really where we are? Is this really where we are? It's insane to me, man. It's just freaking so wrong. She should have been, she should have just been thrown out of there for even asking that. That was so off the cuff.
It's a goofy, irresponsible question that has no warrant in this investigation to even come up with an allegation like that. This is a serious case. We lost this young lady for 49 hours. There was a toddler allegedly involved in this. She had been abducted by two adult individuals, as we know of right now. And this is serious. I mean, it was serious enough that the Secret Service got involved in this, because you have so many different dynamics. And let me just finish my point here for a second. We have so many different dynamics. And I just said basically all of them. You have a young lady that went missing, a young lady that was reported that she was seen a toddler. Then they both disappear. And then her story, after she's finally found or shows up on her parents' doorstep, is that these two individuals took her from the highway. This could be, this is why I think the FBI and the Secret Service got involved. This could be alleged sex trafficking thing where they're plucking people off the highway.
Right. You've got two major crimes right here. So you've got a toddler that's on the side of the road. They don't know where the toddler is, and now you've got a missing woman.
Yeah.
So
and an abduction and maybe a rape or a murder. I mean,
right. and then you've got some reporter implying that because she was an African American that they wouldn't take it seriously. Are you serious?
It's sick. It's
for real,
sick.
people.
Yeah, it's sick. This is very serious.
This is what's wrong with the press today.
Yep.
This is what's wrong to even imply something like that when we see all of the work that went into this, all the agencies that responded, that came together. Who cares what race she is?
April just said it right there. Color should never matter, and that's absolutely 100% true. And you know what? That's why we do these shows. That's why I do this show.
It just blows me away.
It's gross.
That reporter should be admonished.
Yep.
By whoever she works for first and foremost. But you know what? We're talking about her, and that's what they want. We're talking about that reporter right now.
Yep.
Because she pissed a bunch of people off by saying that. I can assure you.
All right, let's get through this here and we'll wrap this up with, actually, I have a positive story to show at the end. I'm going to start doing that at the end of the shows now. I'm going to find some little positivity, some positive stories that we can share. And let's play through this.
Believe in what their daughter's saying. And we've had a very good rapport with the parents, met with them on several occasions. I've talked to them today a few times, and to make them understand that we're under pressure from our community, not only in our community of the state, but nationally when the story hit. And I just wanted them to understand that today we were going to have a press conference, and what we were going to detail today are facts. And everything that I've told you today is actual facts. It's not innuendos. It's not what I think. It's not what these detectives think. It is the factual information that we have.
Chief, how's your office at WBRC? How much time do you think you'll give the family before going back to Carlee for sentencing?
Well, I think our detectives have talked to the parents, and we're ready. We're ready to talk as soon as she's ready. So, she called right now. We're ready.
You had one word to describe what went on. What would that
be? How about unknown? We know the facts that we have. Everything else is unknown at this time.
In the back. What have the past few days been like for you, your department? This has been a stressful search.
Well, absolutely. And again, the focus of the investigation that Thursday when she went missing, of course, the focus was to get Carlee home. That's what we want all. We wanted her safe and sound. And that's all happened. And then, of course, this has gotten to be not only a local state story, but a national story. So, it is. It's a lot of stress on everyone in the Hoover Police Department, and the mayor, to every citizen here. We want to know the truth.
As you stand here, are you frustrated?
I wouldn't say I'm frustrated. I mean, I'm very happy that Carlee's home. That was the main ingredient here, and then we'll figure it out. I promise you that we'll end up figuring it out.
Any idea about the number of manpower hours, or the expense of the drones and all the rest of the search that might cost the city and the state and federal government?
Yeah, we haven't had time to consider that, but it's again, these detectives that are here. This is just a small group of people that have been associated with this case. We have put every available resource that we have on this case because we wanted to make sure that we found out everything. We wanted to get her home, and we have.
Mental health problems.
Not that I'm aware of.
Can you just expand on the people from the state, the federal resources brought in? What were they doing exactly as you all were searching for her? Can you just expand on that?
Sure. A lot of the from the FBI side, several agents helping us interview. I mean, as you well know, in a case like this, especially when it goes national, we got hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of calls. And when you get those calls, some of them may just be outlandish, but you got to follow up on them because you never know that you may get that one tidbit. And I'd also say too that we had a great cooperation with the family. The family received hundreds and hundreds of tips, and every time they got a tip, they sent it to us.
Would you say a crime has been committed in this case?
determine that now.
Keith Mims, WAGG 610 Summit Media. Question for Chief. With all of the searches that you mentioned, Chief, that were on Carlee's phone, does that kind of give you this ordeal, 48 hours
Yeah.
that she went missing?
Well, again, we want to talk in facts, and I do think it's highly unusual to the day that someone gets kidnapped, that several 7 hours, 8 hours before that they're searching the internet, Googling the movie Taken about an abduction. I find that very, very strange. Yes.
Yeah. Do you feel confident, your investigators feel confident that you know why Carlee Russell may have done this?
No, we do not know. Absolutely not.
Chief, can you explain for us, you mentioned that while at the release of Carlee was on the phone with 911, she was traveling 6 football fields, which tells you what?
Which tells me that I've had kids, and I'm sure a lot of people here have, and it's very, very, again, she said it, and I'm not saying it couldn't happen because I've always been one of these guys, never say never, but 6 football fields. I like athletics, I like football. 6 football fields. To think that a toddler, barefoot, that could be 3 or 4 years old, is going to travel 6 football fields without getting in the roadway, without crying, without any just moving down. It's just very hard for me to understand.
Chief, have you used any technology to enhance the video from 459? And did you see a man grab her?
We did not see, from what we can tell. We don't see anybody on the interstate other than her car and then someone getting out of her driver's side. We have sent that off to the FBI for enhancement. It has not been returned.
Do you think in this case that charges will be forthcoming towards Carlee Russell? And how serious of a crime is it to not only fabricate a 911 call, but to lie to law enforcement during an investigation?
Well, again, that's not something that we've been discussed since we're going through the still investigation. But people have to understand that when someone says something like this, we put every available resource. Everybody comes together from, like I say, state, local, federal. It's just a lot of work, and the gentleman earlier said frustrated. I mean, it is a little frustrating to think that all this has been done and we can't find anything out.
Did anyone see her calling in from the side of the road when she made that 911 call?
No, not to my knowledge.
All right,
last question here.
Is this investigation held up until you can speak once again to Carlee Russell?
Well, there's a few things that we're still doing, but obviously we want to talk to Carlee as soon as we can. And do an in-depth interview, and at that time, I think we'll have these investigators doing some other things. So
that's all the questions we're going.
I got a couple takeaways. So
yeah,
to put this in perspective, when we were talking about, I estimated just seeing what she did at like 3.5 football fields, so it was double that.
Yep.
So there's 5,280 feet in a mile, everyone. So she actually traveled almost 0.4 of a mile. So rolling after allegedly seeing a toddler on the side of the road, that makes no sense. And as far as him getting another interview with her, if she's lawyered up, they're never going to get another interview.
Never going to get him.
And because she's going to exercise her Fifth Amendment right, because she's not going to incriminate herself. She's in a lot of trouble. No attorney is going to say, okay, yeah, go incriminate yourself and talk to these investigators. It's just not going to happen. We're not going to hear a word from her. If we do, I'll be very surprised.
Yeah. Well, just to kind of end this, and then we'll get into the small segment before I wrap the show up. The good thing is that Carlee is home. The good thing that she's been found. I think that she still has a lot to answer for. I'm glad that she didn't hurt herself. And they'll get to the bottom of this. And we'll continue to keep our eyes on this case. It's sad, we don't know the full story, but we'll find out. And that's really all I got in this case for now.
Yeah, I mean it's there's more to it, and it's definitely, if we do hear anything, it's going to be from an attorney from her representative, and of course he's going to certainly imply that she's got some sort of a mental health issue. Sure. And he's going to try to put it to bed. So
April said that she's detained a civil rights attorney.
Okay. Yeah.
All right. Well, that's her right. And, like I said, we'll keep following the case here and, we'll get this.
Well, yeah,
this
because
back.
now, of course, if they do go after her, it's going to be because, of her,
Yeah.
of her race.
Well,
it's just gone too far.
I don't want to go down that path,
Yeah,
It's
that's the truth, though. That's what they're going to do.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's why she hired a civil rights attorney.
We live in a very silly society now, and
Yep, it's so wrong, and it's just, I'm over it. I'm really over it.
It's just those political issues I don't want to get into here on the podcast. It's really not where I want to go. People are free to get whatever attorneys they are, and they want to get, we'll keep following the story. I'm not going to criticize her in that or anything like that. It's none of my business, but we'll find out. We'll find out what happens, and we'll go from there. Before I go, I've dropped a link there. I'm gonna have a second channel. It's gonna be called Let's Talk Live Rewinds. And basically, what I'm gonna do over there is download these live episodes and reintroduce them on that channel. So you guys can go back and watch rewinds. I'd appreciate if everybody can just go over and subscribe to that channel. And I'm gonna feed that out into the algorithm and see if that boosts this channel a little bit. And I want to do all the the rewinds over there, so I don't flood too much here. I just want to keep all the live shows on this channel and maybe drop some clips here and there. But what I want to do before we actually close the show, I want to try to make this a thing at the end of every show, is to kind of end these shows on a positive note. I don't know if anybody heard this story of Shaden Walker.
Oh, I watched this.
I mean, if you don't get tears watching this, I mean, you're not a human being. But I wanted to end on this note. If anybody hasn't seen this case, it ripped at my heartstrings, and we'll play this. This is from Inside Editions, about 2 minutes, and then we'll wrap the show up.
What's up, man? A homeowner has an unexpected visitor, a boy in need of help.
I just wanted to see if you knew any kids around like 11 or 12 maybe, because I need some friends, like really bad.
The homeowner says he knows of some kids in the neighborhood, but the youngster, who's wearing a Jaws t-shirt, reveals he has a problem.
Okay. Well, they're not my friends anymore because they're bullies to me.
Oh, I'm sorry about that, man. The man isn't home, but he's touched by the earnest 12-year-old's story and continues to speak to him over ring cam.
I'm just wondering though, do you have any kids?
Yeah, she's 2 years old though, man.
Oh, okay, that's great. Because I actually.
I love this kid.
Yeah, he's great.
To be honest.
Because I love you.
Cool, man. If I see you around, I'll tell you hi.
Okay.
All right, man.
You have a good day.
Homeowner Brennan
wonder-
Ray and his wife Angel posted.
Now I wonder what inspired him to go to this door. That's what's very interesting.
Because he sees
to me.
toys in the front
Toys,
yard. You see the toys in the little pool.
Yeah.
So there must be kids there. So I mean, he's even willing to play with he's so lonely that he's willing to play with a 2-year-old. Oh, I love 2-year-old. This kid is amazing.
Yeah, he's a great
You know
kid.
what? Shame on the parents that allow their children to
bully this young man.
pick on this kid.
Yeah, he seems like a
'Cause
really
that's where
good
it
kid.
starts. Bottom line, that's where it starts. Brian is in the home.
Yep. Everything starts at home, my friend. Everything starts through the parents. Those behaviors are learned through parents.
It's so sad. And this kid is listen to him. He's very articulate.
Yep.
He's got a huge heart, and
He has
just
he has
wants
no
to have friends.
he has no qualms to go up and talk to anybody. I mean, he's went up to a random door and just buzzed the door. Hey, I'm looking for some friends. And believe me, we've all been here. We've all been in this boy's situation.
Bless his heart. I mean, he's just. I love the shirt too.
I've been there. I've been bullied. I know what this young man's going through.
Yeah.
The video, and it is now going viral with 10 million views.
I think everybody could feel it. He's begging for someone. He's calling
Look
out
at his
for some
shirt.
help.
Look at his
How
shirt.
brave
He had a
goes
Dell
one
shirt on.
comment. I'd be his friend goes another.
We were both getting emotional over it, and we're like, we need to do something about this.
They also made it a mission to meet young Shaden of Amarillo, Texas in person. The connection was immediate. The boy even hit it off with their 2-year-old, just like he said he would.
I love 2-year-olds, to be honest.
Brennan's now wearing a Jaws t-shirt in solidarity with his new buddy. So what do Shaden and his mom Krishna think about all this attention?
I was just scared that Shaden would be a victim of more bullying. But when I saw all the love and affection, it was awe-inspiring and beautiful. And the two people who created this video have the biggest heart of gold.
As for the boy who was once in desperate need of friends,
I need some friends. Like,
He's got some friends
really
now.
bad.
we're happy to report things have changed. Have you made new friends now because of this video?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. How's that make you feel?
My confidence has gone through the roof.
Good. Inside Edition brought the group together. You guys all consider yourselves friends now?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. I think family is a better word.
And it's getting better. A GoFundMe account for Shaden raised $37,000 in just 24 hours.
Wow.
Shaden is not keeping all of the money. He's donating a portion to war relief in Ukraine, as well as to tornado victims here in this country.
Well, hopefully, you know, that gets put aside and he gets some college money out of that, and he's going to go on to do some great things.
He's going to get much more too on that GoFundMe. I guarantee you. I'll find that link, send it out.
Yeah.
I'll contribute.
Yeah,
100%.
I'll throw some money over there. Let's see. GoFundMe. Let's see. Spreading kindness for Shaden. Wow, he's at $37,000 right now.
Wow.
Look at this. That's great. I'll drop a tenner in there. I'm not going to do it on air, but I'll drop a tenner in there and give him some money and help him out here.
What a way to end the show, man. That was perfect.
Yep. We're going to end on positive notes now, my friend. It's kind of going to be a theme here on the Let's Talk Live podcast. So listen, it's nice to end a little bit early this evening. I started a little earlier. We're going to end a little bit earlier. I want to welcome everybody that came into the show this tonight and watched this live. Again, if you're watching this on the replay, go down there and comment #replay. We would appreciate that. I want to thank Detective John, obviously, for jumping on the panel. It was great to hang out with him again. I want to thank all my channel members for being over here as well, and all the new faces that I saw in the chat this evening. If you haven't subscribed, make sure to subscribe here. I'm going to have the second channel up and running probably in the next couple of days. I just want to make sure I do it right. And then what I'm going to do is start relaunching my episodes one by one on that channel, get that out in the algorithm. Maybe it spins some people over here as well, kind of doing double duty on that. And we'll do the replays over there of the live shows, and then just keep this specifically to a live show platform. Thank you all. I will be back tomorrow night where we're going to discuss Tupac. We're going to do some updates in the Tupac Shakur case. I'm going to drop the link for that. And then on Saturday night, DJ, if you're around, we're going to do an Idaho show, open panel. We're going to tape phone calls. I've worked out the phone calls so we can hear them. We're going to take phone calls that night. So we'll do some Q&A. Yeah, we're going to do some Q&A. I'm going to have the live audience join in. And I have some new videos of JRL is out in Idaho. And I know a lot of people who waver back and forth, but I got to give the guy a lot of credit. He's boots on the ground. He's out there. He's at all of these spots that we've been talking about lately. And he has the most updated footage of the Idaho house on King Road. So we're gonna watch those videos, play through them, talk and conversate about them. So join me on Saturday. I'll drop the link for that as well. And that's going to be probably it for this episode. So
JLR is tenacious, man. He is a tenacious.
He's a worker. Guy. I mean, he went from Idaho to Alabama today, and he was reporting on the Carlee Russell case today. So
wow,
yeah, he's a go-getter. And believe me, if I didn't have the tie downs that I do to my job, I'd be out doing the same thing he's doing.
Hey,
right
I'll be very honest with you. I thought about one time hopping in and jumping on a plane and going out to Idaho because I felt like people just weren't asking the right questions.
Yeah.
And, you know, there's a lot of people out there that probably want to talk.
It's something I'm planning. I may do it in October. So,
ruh-roh.
I have to see what happens. Oh, did I just let that slip out?
Oh, you're approachable, you know, so no one's going to run from you.
Right.
Just keep the hat on, brother.
I would blend in. Yeah, keep the hat on.
You don't want to be the redhead with the bald spot, right?
No, the redhead with the bald spot. That's an excellent ending, by the way. All right, guys, we'll see you next time. Come check me out tomorrow, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. From Detective John and myself, we out of here. There's another one in the bank. Bye, guys. Bye.